Hello, my fellow explorers. Today we're delving into one of the most profound, mind-bending, and strangely perplexing questions humanity has ever faced. Can truly nothing exist? Now, before the word loses all its meaning to repetition, let me define what I mean by nothing. You might think of an empty room, a blank page, or outer space devoid of matter. But hold on. Are those examples really, truly nothing? Let's test this hypothesis with some philosophical and scientific rigor. First off, let's chat about why we even care. Asking about nothingness isn't just an armchair philosophical exercise. It goes right to the roots of how we understand existence itself. After all, if something can come from nothing, doesn't that break every rule we thought the universe was following? This isn't just an abstraction. It's tied up with questions about the origin of our universe. What came before the Big Bang, if anything? Did the cosmos arise from absolute nothing? Or was there some primordial something? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Philosophers have been grappling with the concept of nothing for centuries, maybe even millennia. One of the greatest minds to tackle this question was the Greek philosopher Parmenides. He argued rather provocatively that nothing can't exist. According to him, if you can think about nothing, you've already turned it into a kind of something. And isn't that a frustrating paradox? You can't imagine the absence of all, because even the act of imagining creates content. It's like trying not to think of a pink elephant. The harder you try, the more vivid it becomes. Let's put a pin in the philosophical side for a moment and turn to modern science, where nothing becomes even more puzzling. Scientists, particularly physicists, struggle with the idea of a true vacuum. For instance, in quantum mechanics, even what we'd call empty space is teeming with activity on a microscopic scale. Virtual particles pop in and out of existence. Fields ripple and fluctuate. It turns out that the so-called void is never quite void, and this isn't just theory. The Casimir effect, an experimentally observed phenomenon, provides proof that empty space has physical consequences. But wait. Does this mean the universe has never tasted absolute nothing? Let's look closer. If you strip away every atom, every quark, every photon, even every quantum field, would you finally get nothing? Here's where the problem compounds, because removing the fabric of space itself might mean removing the stage on which even the concept of nothing would make any sense. In physics, space-time itself might be fundamental. And if space-time is something, then where and how could plain, undiluted nothing even manifest? Quite the existential headache, isn't it? Okay, returning to philosophy again, we encounter another layer of complexity: language. Some argue that nothing is purely a linguistic construct. Our minds, and by extension our languages, are wired to think in terms of things, objects, states. Could it be that nothing, as a concept, is nothing more than a placeholder? A way to talk about absence without acknowledging its inherent impossibility? When we say nothing, are we just labeling a gap in our understanding? The German existentialist philosopher Martin Heidegger, don't worry, I'll keep his ideas digestible, claimed that confronting nothing is vital because it allows us to properly grapple with being. According to him, the question isn't idle. It's foundational to grasping what it means to exist. Now, here's a thought experiment to fully bake your noodle for today. Imagine if the universe were a movie. Everything exists on a projector reel, right? Even the black parts or cuts to silence are part of the film. They're encoded, meant to convey something. But in a reel, one containing absolutely nothing, there'd be no picture, sound, or even a place to project it. What would that mean? Wouldn't the lack of a universal something just make the concept of nothing irrelevant? Do you see where this loops back on itself? Nothing can't even be considered in isolation. In some odd way, the lack of all context erases the idea of lack itself. For a moment, consider our everyday thinking. Every question, every system of reasoning requires a starting point, a framework. Even the process of saying nothing pulls in the notions of time, space, and existence. Which leads me to ask, Can this linguistic and conceptual dependency ever be escaped? Are we trapped, philosophically, by our insistence on binaries like something and nothing? I would love to know your thoughts on this. Zooming out to a cosmic scale, we face a reminder. When we talk about origins, about the Big Bang and what may or may not have preceded it, science often has to dip into this bizarre realm of metaphysical nothing. However, many arguments suggest it's just an awkward, misunderstood placeholder for ideas we might refine as our theories improve. What's my take, as a physicist dabbling in philosophy? If science has taught us anything, it's that truly settling questions like this often brings more complexity, not less. What we know today might turn out to be incomplete or even fundamentally misdirected. And honestly, I find that exhilarating, not discouraging. The journey of inquiry, not the answers, echoes the heart of discovery. Here's one closing thought to leave you with. Whenever we try to define the absence of everything, we paradoxically create, or smuggle in again, the presence of thought, of frameworks, of assumptions. Can we accept the possibility that nothing is something we, as thinking beings, are fundamentally incapable of grasping? Or is there always going to be some outpost of science, of philosophy, pushing us closer to that elusive void? What do you think? Is nothing just an illusion we invented? Or is it a real feature of the cosmos, waiting for us to understand it? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell me, do you believe we'll ever resolve this duality of something versus nothing? Or would even trying to do so reveal that the question itself is built on inescapable human biases? Let's keep the conversation alive. After all, nothing sparks thought better than, well, nothing. Thank you for letting me take this intellectual voyage with you today. Stay curious, stay wondering, and I'll see you in the next video on Hyperfocus. Until next time, take care.